I mean, just all this diversity of unit. There was no completely structured um, build order. It looked like Seb was just using what he could, as if somebody told him to build this and just, I don't know, throw him out into the field and see what could happen out of that. So what do you guys think about that?
Definitely fun to watch. I don't think it was his early game units, choice of units. I think late game is what possibly lost him the game, not having anything to cap. No fighting infantry.
Yeah, and I agree with greatness there. The early game was really amazing, and that's one of the things that really endeared us to this replay from the beginning. Was just watching the early game play all the way around, watching this stew that I mean just constantly was pounding on him. 26 kills on the stew. Um, and being able to see what Seb's doing, fantastic sniper micro from Seb, and CrazyTiger answered with it, and I think the only thing that you can really fault Seb for in this is losing a little bit of that capping power as the game went on, and with if he had maintained some of that, he probably could have maintained a significant portion of the east side of the map and continuously contested the center VP, and he'd have probably done all right at that point. But at the same time, just uh, some of the fights, some of the things that were going on. I mean, it's hard for even all three of us to watch everything that was happening simultaneously, and it's just amazing to sit and think about the level of micro that it takes to be fighting at that level on the west side and then be dancing an MG in and out of a house on the east side, all while trying to keep track and making sure that you don't lose too much in the process.
And that's what I actually really enjoyed about this game. It's easy to be in this position right now, watching a replay like this and thinking, "Oh yeah, you done this wrong, you done that wrong." But when you're actually in the game, that is a whole different thing. What I really appreciate about this replay, is just the of intense micro, because I know from my own experiences that micro is very hard to execute, and when you see it happening right and on such a high level amongst so many different units, you know that there is a lot of skill in this player. So I definitely have a lot of props to Seb. Also, you can't really fault this game for anything very bad occurring, like needless losses, for example. There's no needless losses. I do account for maybe one engineer in the beginning, but considering that there was a high level of micro, as I've said, with all those jeeps, it is sort of understandable. But apart from that, every unit, those jeeps being destroyed, was sort of something that you couldn't really control. I mean, camouflage stormtroopers, stuff like that. It's sort of hard to control your losses in that way. But when it comes to micro, the build order, knowing what to do, dancing his snipers in and out of the building to avoid the shim wagon. It's just sort of funny things to see, and you definitely get a sense of appreciation for the amount of skill that goes into it. So I definitely big props to Seb for actually executing such a wonderful game. Also to CrazyTiger for very effectively using his Sta and his Tiger and these combinations of units to take down Seb. I'm sure this is definitely a build order that he is not used to whatsoever. So anything else you guys would like to add to that?
I think you pretty much covered it. Well, I will say, for beginners, I would not attempt this type of build at all. Don't even try.
That was actually, it's funny that you say that, greatness, because Krebs and I had probably a 10-minute long conversation last night, about the fact that it needs to be explicitly noted that if you're just getting new into the game, this is not the build order for you. It's not going to work.
And that's
Yeah.
the funny thing. It's not something to use whatsoever. If if you're trying to give a newcomer some tips, this is definitely a high level of micro. It's something that you learn from experience and doing it purposefully, intentionally trying to do micro. So definitely something not to recommend to new players. Not a build order whatsoever. Be on the safe side. Go for your barracks and your riflemen. Um, apart from that, I think you know save the jeeps till later, till you're a bit better. So anyway, guys, I think that's it for number 2. So I was hosting this with Greatness and Ryan. A big thank you to both of them. Now I am absolutely excited to bring you number 1. This number 1 is going to be a very intense game. While this was quite creative and different, number 1 is action-packed, very intense, and I'm absolutely excited to be bringing that to you guys. But until next time, I will see you guys later.